join me in Gasho. May this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you all here this morning. Yes, as Fuji Sensei was saying, my husband Dave and son Atticus are upstairs. Atticus is going through a bit of mommy attachment right now, and so if I'm in the room and he cries, he must have me. And so we thought maybe it might be a little bit better for him to observe from up top for today. But we're really excited for this opportunity to come and meet everybody and looking forward to moving to Toronto. Although Dave is from Sacramento, I've been sort of floating around Berkeley for the past 5 years, maybe 6 now. 6? Just as an aside, I'm really climatized, so it's kind of cool. I really missed having a Sangha. And although the BCA people are lovely and they've been really great and kind and invited me to go do talks all over, we're really looking forward to coming here and being part of this community. I've been sort of, missing having a home. So it's nice to look around Toronto and think, oh, this is going to be my home. I wonder if Dave feels the same way now that it's so cold. Yay! Yeah, it's exciting and really thrilling, I think, to be able to come and share the Dharma with all of you. And maybe thrilling is not a word that most of you might use with Buddhism, but for me it is. I think I've spent the past 15 years studying Buddhism, so I get really excited about it. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you all for all of your efforts. People have been working really hard and helping us find a place to live. And in California, you can't buy warm clothes. Dave will shake his head when I say this, but he thinks they're really warm. But people have really come together and got warm clothes for Atticus. I'm of course okay, but I'm a mom, so I'm always so worried about my baby. And it's really nice that everyone has gone to so much effort for us. I don't mind talking about myself a little bit. I'm from Alberta. I grew up there. And when I went to school, actually, I'll just answer this question now because I think probably everybody's wondering, and I get asked it a lot. What am I doing here? Why am I a Buddhist? And why am I a Buddhist minister? So I'll just try to address that now, and then you can, of course, ask me more questions later. But this is how I became a Buddhist, was actually kind of backwards. I wanted to go into law, as Roy knows, and so I was going to get an English degree, because that's easy. And then get your English degree, and then you go into law school. It's sort of the way to do it quickly. Well, I don't know what to believe, but anyways, I'm digressing. So I needed a second language, and I chose Spanish. And I started failing. I was really bad at Spanish. I'm still really, even after living in California for a little while, I'm really bad. And although my professor there told me to not quit, I quit. And I saw that they were offering another language at the time, which was Tibetan. And I was like, well, why not? That could be cool. And so I signed up for Tibetan with, some of you might remember Reverend Leslie Kawamura. He was teaching Tibetan, and so I actually ended up being really good at it. and liked it, and I started translating the sutras. And that's how I got introduced to Buddhism, really, was by translating the sutras. And thought, oh, I really identify with that. Maybe my movement to Jodo Shinshu is a little bit confusing, but I, of course, tried lots of different kinds of Buddhism, and in short, this is the one that just really fit for me. I read the writings and Shinran's writings and Pure Land Sutras, and the first time I read them, I was like, what is this? But after I went through a really difficult time in my life, and then I really understood what the teachers were telling me, and then it really meant something to me. But maybe that's best for another time. I got to save my talk material for later. But I also get asked if I was associated with the Calvary Temple, so I'll tell you no, I wasn't, because I had to work a lot. So when I was not going to school, I was working on the weekends, and I was working in the evenings. I was working in the evenings at a law firm, and on the weekends at a cheese shop. So did I go to temples? No, not really. Not until, sometimes a little, but I couldn't afford to. I was paying for my education, and so that's sometimes a little bit, people get a little bit confused about that, and I wanted to talk today a little bit about Sangha, which is interesting because at this point in my life, I didn't have Sangha. I had a lot of books, and I'm an excellent reader, but I didn't really get this whole part of it until I moved to Berkeley, and then I started to really get to know the community. And then even, oddly enough, my relationship with the Canadian Sangha, once I moved to California, was wonderful. I came back and spent more time with the Sangha since being in California, and become really close with a lot of people. But I began this talk with a quotation that you might not realize it, but you're all really familiar with. So let me just repeat it to you. May this merit virtue be shared equally with all beings. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind and be born in the realm of serenity and joy. Does anybody recognize it? Fuji says that you can't tell because I really spoke. And Dave's locked upstairs, so he can't say. This is Gani Shiki Dobu Yodo Seisai, the echo that we do after every chant. We say it all the time, and I wonder how hard we really think about the words. It talks about merit transference, and in Jodo Shinshu, we don't really talk about that a lot, merit transference. But in my opinion, it's not really the sense of merit that really sinks in for me. For me, what's really significant is the sense of togetherness. May we together awaken the Bodhi mind. Isn't let me show you the Bodhi mind. It isn't, here, this is how you do it. It's, let's work on this together. Let's do this as a community. When Jodo Shinshu came to North America, it wasn't just a place where we came to talk about the Buddha and the Dharma, and it was also a place for community. It was a place where people could go and be themselves, where you could feel safe to be yourself. And also after the Japanese internment, they weren't just used as temples, they were also used as places of community. There's a woman in Berkeley who was explaining to me that after they left the camp, they didn't have a home anymore. They didn't have anywhere to go. And so all the families went to the temple, and they all lived at the temple. And all the members got together, and they helped each other find houses and places to live and jobs. And although this was really dire circumstances and horrible, I I think it's a really excellent testament to how strong community can be to really help each other. And it made me wonder, after hearing her story, are we still like that? Are we still like a strong community that way? And I don't know about Toronto, because it's my first time here. Yeah, I can't speak at length about it, but I think that my interactions here have been really great so far. Like early on, I was lucky enough to speak to Larry and Amy. I met Fuji Sensei previously on the phone. I know Diane's been tirelessly looking for a place for me to live, and Susan's been helping out so much with organizing us, which is great. I need somebody to organize me. Do you know 3 people met us at the airport? 3 people. Fuji Sensei, Susan, and Roy all picked us up at the airport. Like, how lovely is that? That didn't have to happen. You know, someone could have just picked us up, dropped us off, and that didn't. And I was really touched, and how much effort has gone into it. Just me coming for this week, or us coming for this week. I could go on and on because I'm thinking, okay, I've got bags of stuff that people gave me, but let me just say, it's been really excellent support. And so, from what I can tell so far, the community here is really, really lovely. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm actually kind of an introvert. It's hard to believe because I've got kind of a big mouth. It's maybe actually even more hard to believe now that I have Atticus. Because I don't think you get a chance to be an introvert as a parent. You get a chance to be a parent. If that baby is all over the place, you're all over the place, right? We refer to it as BA before Atticus, life before Atticus. Now the world revolves around him. But I used to sit in my room and translating, or I'll admit it, I would sit around playing video games and geeking out, watching science fiction sitcoms, I guess. Like not the real cool stuff that normal people watch, like Battlestar Galactica and stuff. I was watching like Babylon 5, the really bad sci-fi, and Stargate. That's what kind of sort of recluse I am, or was the good old days. Now I just change diapers and try to study. But anyhow, as an introvert, I grew up as a very, very independent person. When it came to relying on somebody else, I just wouldn't do it. With that, we weren't given that option. We were taught to be very, very self-sufficient. I also have a brother and sister, and they were the same way. For example, if my tape deck broke, I had to either fix it or get a job and buy a new one. If there was a hole in the wall, my brother had this problem when he was growing up. He had a bit of a temper sometimes, said Dad, but if there's a hole in the wall, you fix it. That's it. No questions. I really hated it when I was a kid, of course, right? But now I like it because I'm quite handy. I kind of continued that practice throughout my life, that sort of being self-sufficient. Excuse me for just a minute. Atticus gave me his cold. Yes, I was self-sufficient. So, like, for example, I wouldn't ask my mom for money. And it's not that she wouldn't help me. I don't know if she would. I wouldn't ask. I would just get a job. So, when I was 14, I got my first job marking sandblasting bags and sandblasting sand. So, you know, like those great big bags of sandblasting sand, I sat there with a stamper. That was my first job. I don't know, is that illegal at 14? Maybe. I didn't care. I just wanted money so I could save up, buy clothes and stuff. But throughout my life, I think I almost became pathologically independent. I wouldn't accept help from anybody. I could do everything. In class, I'm not the one that asks questions. I'm the one that will go on the internet and look it up myself if I have a question. And it wasn't until coming to Jodo Shinshu that I realized that I don't have to be that way. There's other people here to support, and we can work together to do things. I wasn't going to go into this, but I'll just mention it. I had heart surgery, and it was, I really learned the importance of community when everybody sort of came together and helped me. And then I was like, oh, not only do I not have to do this by myself, I can't do this by myself. Professor Lisa Grumbach, she wrote an article about community in Jodo Shinshu. And she wrote this one that talks about Jodo Shinshu being a family-based religion. And that although many different Buddhist sects, I guess, are really family-based in different countries. In North America, they don't seem to be that much, but Jodo Shinshu is, and that's maybe something we should really capitalize on. And I tend to agree with her. The Sangha is not just something that we randomly interact with, but something that we continually ask for guidance in, take refuge in. Every time you give dana, that money goes to support the Sangha. It goes to look after this place, to support your community, your Sangha. And this is the place where you can go to take refuge from the things that lead you away from the Buddha and the Dharma. And I guess these are the people. And actually, dana often goes to a lot of other things too that we don't realize. I think, just for example, JBTC has helped me out quite a lot, just in getting my ministerial training and my Tokudo and Kyoshi. So really, just as an aside, your donations have really put me here. Without it, I wouldn't be here. So as Buddhists, we believe in the truth of interconnectedness. Every single thing is the result of different variables that we refer to as causes and conditions. Every effect is also a cause and a condition for other things. And I think the same thing holds true for human emotions and human reactions. I tested this out a little bit in Berkeley when I was sort of playing with things in my head a little bit. I would walk down the street and I would just force smiles on people. Because I don't know if you've been to Berkeley, but it's not as friendly as some of the places that are probably around here. People don't smile at you. If they're smiling at you, they're crazy. Or you're crazy. I could be the crazy one. That's possible. So I tested it out by walking around smiling at everybody. And they would smile back. And I thought, geez, I hope that really helped their day. Helped mine. And one time when I was walking during my crazy smiling phase, this one homeless guy said, "Hi, Smiley," and I was like, "Oh, hi." And then he called me beautiful, and then I was like, "I like you especially now." And so I chatted with him, and I found out the next day was his 56th birthday. And so I went back to the IBS dormitory where I was living, and I made him a birthday cake. And the next day when I came back, I gave him this birthday cake. And he was crying and telling me nobody had ever made him a cake before. And I noticed I started to feel really awkward, so I just laughed. But, okay, happy birthday. But I don't know. And I can't, of course, say how my actions affected him, but I know that it really affected me. It gave me a lot to think about, and a lot of things happened around that really was a great learning experience for me. And there's so many different communities we're in now, especially with the internet. You know, I'm in an online mom group where I talk to other mothers that had babies at the same time as me, and we chit-chat away almost every day about something. They all know I'm here. So it's interesting the different kinds of communities that we find. But here is our Sangha. And it's really nice that we get the ability, or have the ability to get together and share in so many things. I really think that by coming to temple, you learn with your five senses, not just by reading or thinking. You know, I was going to say you smell the incense, but you don't. But you can smell it. But no, you smell the cooking downstairs. I'm sure sometimes you can smell it, and which is another really big part of Jodo Shinshu, food. Excellent. But the treats afterwards, and experiencing compassion and caring with all these people just under one roof. And it's easy for us to not pay attention to how important community is. Become blind and to how hard everybody is working to keep everything together. As the echo says, Ganishiki Doku, may we together awaken the Bodhi mind. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo